All right, so we're going to get into self-nourishment. We had a great pre-show like we always do. You shed a lot of knowledge that I didn't gather before. So here we go. Everybody, let's get ready for the ride. Information that we got here, we put together and we can put it up on the screen. Let's start with this one. People lose their self-worth. One of the things you were talking to me about. Go into
Absolutely.
detail. What does it mean when a person loses their self-worth or a loss of self-worth? Some people emotionally go through.
Okay. My work has been evolving within the last couple of years. And what I've noticed is so many women who are in my coaching program have been in some sort of a toxic environment. And living in these kind of like unsafe situations brought them to establishing coping mechanism and just for their own safeties, because it was not safe to show themselves as they were. So they started actually behaving in ways that that actually harmed them without
Hmm.
knowing it. So if you imagine like a baby that's born, no baby on this planet would ever think that he's not worthy of love, and they just concentrate on like being themselves. They just
Yeah.
are, they just smile, they just get love from everyone. But then as they grow up, they notice that not every behavior that they show is met with the same lovingness. So they kind of start to adapt the way they behave, because we have two innate needs that we need when we're small. First of all, the need of connection, the need that
Mm-hmm.
someone is going to take us in within their tribe and take care of us. That's for pure survival. And the second one is authenticity. Like, what is good for me? What makes me thrive? What makes me happy? And that second need of authenticity is kind of like let go, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not as important as being taken care of. So, what happens when you're in like a toxic environment? You start thinking in some ways that you're not lovable. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something we all thrive for. We all want to be loved and all want to be accepted. So, if at a very young age, the ways that we think we need to be or we need to behave to be loved are mixed up, then we
Mm-hmm.
start getting into behaviors that were supposed to protect us when we were in this environment. But
Mm-hmm.
if we stay in these coping mechanisms, it's like stuck energies within our bodies that start, working and having very destructive cycles within us, and that keep us stuck in self-sabotage, that keep us stuck in cycles of always returning to toxic environments,
Mm-hmm.
that keep us small and keep us imprisoned and keep us not in self-love and self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the difficult thing about this is what I see is that, there's one prison that's the most dangerous and the most like impossible to break out of. And it's the prison that you don't know that exists. So
Hmm.
if you're kind of in these kind of cages that you've set up around yourself to protect yourself, what actually happens is that you're stuck in a place of like unhappiness and frustration and smallness, and you really don't allow yourself to step into the truth of who you are, and that is
I had a
draining.
thought. I have to
Mm,
ask you this because remember, everybody, if you're watching this, we've
yes.
talked a number of times. Deborah and I, in our pre-shows, can go long, so we will be stepping on each other as we go to speak. We're accustomed to that. But
Yeah.
Deborah, this loss of self-worth. This is a common thing that you've seen when you deal with your clients, and you've seen this then, where people actually experience they don't really feel valuable to anybody.
Yes, but it's way more slippery and way more tricky than that, because
Wow.
like 9 out of 10 women would say like, I feel worthy.
Okay.
And and then in their surroundings, the real situation that they're living is that they're walking around putting so much energy into thinking about what people might think of them. They put so much energy into people pleasing. They do not ever speak up and say their truth because they don't want to offend anyone. They don't want to have, disharmony. And they're scared all the time of making a mistake. This is why they don't stand up for themselves. They don't try anything. They don't follow through if they have an idea, because they will always think that failure is extremely unsafe. And that is what happens when you were in an unsafe environment, that you start to think, I have to be perfect. I have to show like no vulnerability, because otherwise I might be attacked and I will be made, worthless. And that is a wound that's so dangerous, because very few people recognize it and really see what it means. And those wounds that are created by that have to be attended to, because if they're not, they kind of take over control in your system. I'm always showing like this because your mind is like the home of your thoughts, of your intellect, but your body is the home of your emotions.
Got it. Okay.
And if you've had like stuck emotions of like anger or frustration or sadness or like not worthiness, and you haven't been able to express them and have them flow through you, then they're going to stay stuck and they're going to start controlling you from your subconscious. So this is an extremely dangerous, is dramatic, but it is. It kind of is.
I don't know.
Because
That kind of
you can
sounds
spend so
good that you
many
said it.
years and
Yeah.
decades in this kind of situation without noticing. And this is why most of my content and most of my content on all of my platforms is aimed at creating awareness, because that's step number one. If you start having the perception, oh, wow, I've been living in this prison, I'm actually not as free as I claim to be.
Right.
That's step number one.
And a lot of it has to do with, or it being seen that a person is not really free is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that they really lean into the people pleasing part of it because their self-worth is not where it needs to be. I'm just taking a guess. Correct me if I'm wrong, or from your perspective.
Well, no, not 100%. Like people pleasing is a teeny tiny part of it.
Okay.
There are many dynamics that keep you blocked, or that is a block between where you're standing and where you want to go. And that keeps you from really leaning into who you are in truth, into your self-empowerment and into your authentic being. And one of them is people pleasing. Now, if you've been caught in any kind of toxic relationship, may it be with your caretakers, with your parents, with your relationship, and you've lost your feeling of self-worth, there's a lot of shame attached to that. And shame always leads to different kind of reactions. You can either step away from, and that will be like hiding or numbness or kind of, harmonizing, people pleasing. You can like step towards it, which would be like finger pointing, blaming, harshness, disappointment, disempowerment. And so you always have like different dynamics, because it will be so easy to say, okay, this is the one thing that's
It's the
going to
one
happen,
thing. Yeah. Right.
one
Right.
symptom,
Yeah.
and there's no such thing. But at the end of the day, I'm always talking about all of these symptoms, because some people might say like, I'm totally living my truth. I'm here. Look at me. I'm visible and
Yeah.
I'm here. I always, say what I like. But then when I tell them, okay, but there's some programs that are ego-led and there's some programs that are heart-led. And, everything that's led by your heart is the truth. And the programs that are actually ego-led are keeping you from living your true self. And those are the things that I just mentioned, some of them. There's so much more. The victimhood, one of the hugest collective programs that I recognize is helplessness.
What do you mean
People,
by that?
well, for example, people who would say like, I feel so little worthy of receiving like freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom, freedom in a sense of in a sense of I feel abundant. And what they do is sorry, I just lost because you changed the screen. I just lost what I was saying.
So a
Um,
person can feel a sense of helplessness,
yeah,
correct?
exactly. So what they think is I'm so little worthy of receiving this that I'm going to depend on other people to bring
Yeah.
it to me. And now a symptom of that can be entitlement. You owe me this. Or finger pointing, because my mother was always so
Didn't
little
do.
loving with me, she gaslighted me, and that's why I'm not able to, like, explanations, finding
Right.
explanations why your situation is totally valid, and there's nothing you can do about it. So these are all programs of the ego that keep you extremely disempowered. And it's very tricky because it can be so subtle. Or someone thinking, I feel unloved. Someone should bring me love. Why is there no love in my life?
Okay, so how does a person, if they have some of the, you mentioned victimhood, you mentioned this
Yes.
helplessness, if they have some of those, then I'm going to ask a question about something you told me about. So how does a person begin this self-nourishment to start to, well, repair or move away from that?
Yes. That's an excellent question. And I would never call it repair because you're
Okay.
not broken. You're whole, and
Hmm.
it's up to me to help you remember how whole you are and how loved you are and how complete you are at this point. But the real work is getting out of your head and into your body and starting to feel again and starting to like process all of these emotions that have gotten stuck. And your question is excellent, because how do you like get into that work? Taking responsibility,
Oh,
becoming
well,
aware,
okay.
okay, there's
Wow.
something that wounded me. Because
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. I've been like in toxic environments, and I know from my
Hmm.
childhood that I was always that kind of personality who said it's all good, I can handle it, I'm strong, everything's okay. But it gets to a point where you need to acknowledge, you need to validate, oh wow, this really hurt me. And
That
there
can
are
be really
wounds.
hard for a lot of people though, right?
Extremely,
To actually
extremely
get to
hard.
that point that actually hurt me instead of sweeping it
Yeah.
under the rug that everything's okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And everything's okay is so dangerous. Those are words that can keep you stuck and hurt and imprisoned for decades. And that is for me so tragic. So getting to that point where you say, I really got hurt, and no, you know, what went on wasn't right. It wasn't okay. And then to say, but it's not the predator, the person, the parent whose apology I need to heal, but it's my own love and my self nourishment.
I'm sorry, you're
So,
gonna have to repeat that. That was so good. That was I'm gonna cut that and make that a YouTube short. That was so it's not the other person
if you
or
have like
their
a massive hurt,
apology
mm,
or their acknowledgement of what transpired.
yes.
Go ahead.
So, what actually is the case is that you are in the illusion that person is going to have to apologize to make it good. But you
Okay.
cannot wait for the person that broke it to heal it. It's not going to happen. And even if it does, it wouldn't bring you the fulfillment that it would if you are that person that steps in and takes responsibility. So, number one is awareness of the situation. Number two is willingness to take responsibility.
Okay.
And that goes straight into number three, because the willingness leads you to
Hmm.
the decision. And the decision has to be based with dedication. You have to want it more than anything else, because I'm telling you, this is not only, nice little inspirational quotes, but this is
No, this is a
changing
little bit
your
more than
life.
that, right? This is
It's
more than
changing
that.
your life.
It's more than.
Definitely.
Go ahead. I want you to go on, but I gotta. I know we talked about a time frame here and what we're doing, but I gotta. You just brought up some stuff that we have never talked about. You do it
Sorry.
every time, and I got paper and I'm ready, and now I'm gonna pivot. I hate saying that word all the time, pivot, but we're gonna What about, oh, here, look. I'm going to put this word up because you mentioned it, and what you're talking about reminds me of that. So, everybody, if you want more of this and you're not accustomed to this type of style in which we speak over each other a number of different ways, whatever case may be, but I got to move this along because we only have so much time to spend time with each other. I got to put this word up. You were just talking about something, not expecting the apology, not all those things. There is no way, this is a word that you brought up when we were preparing the show. These shows are not scripted, everybody. If this is your first time here, they're prepared shows, but they are literally live, and we're just having a conversation. You mentioned the word rejuvenation when we were looking at putting this show together.
Yes.
Now, how can a person then get rejuvenated if that other person doesn't, I know you know the answer, but I'm just throwing it out, doesn't apologize, or they don't get closure, or they're not connected then, is what you're saying?
Well, the way I read rejuvenation is just stopping the aging process and just staying in your vital, like, is that what you mean with it or
Oh,
not?
okay. No, I've always wanted to know. I was just wondering about the word. How does it fit in with what you just said? But now I get it. Okay,
No, it
so
doesn't. It's another topic, like, but I
got it.
can make it fit
Could you
because
make it fit? Because I was
yeah,
looking at it one other way, but I like what you just said because that makes sense. Because everybody, if you're
totally.
wondering, she gave me information and I just want to throw it up and we just have at it. But go ahead, please.
You see, the one resource that is terminal, that is going to come to an end one time or another, is our time here on Earth. So you want to make the most out of this life and stay healthy and stay vital and stay fit and stay, in your glow. And I don't mean like any kind of war that's going on within women, mostly like, oh, I have to stay young looking and everything. I'm not
Okay.
talking about all
You're
of
not
these
talking
things.
about that. Okay.
No, but have you noticed that women who go through a very tough time and then they break free and then they start like going within and they start self-nourishing and they start being in stillness with themselves and really going on bullshit detox and just eliminating all factors that have been troubling them in their lives? And what happens is a massive glow up. Have you noticed?
Okay. All right. The,
So this kind of glow up happens when you start letting go of resistance, when you start getting yourself in like a nourishing space, when you
this is
start,
internal resistance, you mean? When you let go of internal resistance or even
yeah,
external?
no, internal, which leads
Okay.
to external as well. For example, if you have a massive resistance that I'm seeing everywhere is the resistance with what is. So, for example,
Okay.
people will be like, I will give you an example because it's a little bit hard to get. I'm so frustrated at this, but I'm too spiritual to be frustrated. Why am I frustrated? I need
I've
to
heard
go
that.
and read positive affirmations. I don't
I,
want to
I've
be
yeah. I
frustrated.
get what you're saying
So
now. Yeah.
that's massive resistance with where you're standing. And it leads to bypassing and toxic positivity and just, looking the other way, distraction, addiction. Addiction can be
Okay.
anything that distracts you, anything, substances and behaviors. So if instead you're willing to meet yourself where you are and you just say, wow,
Hmm.
I'm so frustrated. Wow. Where do I feel that in my body? Where, and you just allow that feeling to flow through you because in emotion, everything in emotion is it's energy in motion. So an emotion wants to flow. And if you ignore it, it grows. If you like try to push it down, it will grow and take impact, take momentum. But what an emotion really wants is to be felt. So I always say, if
That
you
was
let
good.
go,
That
yeah,
was, I'm sorry, that was really good. An emotion wants to be felt. A lot of
yes,
people don't know what you just mentioned. A number of people ignore, right? Ignore it, push it aside, do a number of things. But you're saying a person has to literally try to see what they're feeling and
yes,
acknowledge it.
yes. And,
And
and and it's difficult. It's so simple, but it's not easy. Because there has been a time in that person's life where they
mhm,
felt that, maybe perhaps as a 5-year-old kid, and they felt, let's say, they were ridiculed because they tried something new and it didn't work out the
okay.
first try. and
Right.
they were laughed at. So
Hmm.
somewhere in their little heart, they decided, I am never going to be made ridicule again. Never am I
Hmm.
going to be shamed in that way because it hurts so much. A little 5-year-old, all he wants is like recognition, applause, be loved and cherished for what he is in that moment. So if that kind of a hurt happens, then you have recorded in your system somewhere, I am going to do everything I can to never ever feel that pain again. So what happens is you build up walls and you start behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for you to be ridiculed. But what happens? You lose your creativity. You lose your
Become a whole nother person.
femininity. What,
Okay.
sorry?
You become a whole nother person then,
Completely, because you built that whole persona around I am
to not
never
being hurt.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never ever going to be hurt in that way again. So you keep yourself small. You don't sign up for adventures. You don't try anything new. You stay in your comfort zone. And, that's a possible scenario. But just imagine the impact, the destructive impact on your life. If you if you decide, and it's a very unconscious level, but if you decide to be in that place, and then again, I'm going to take an example from wildlife. I don't know. Have you ever seen like on Wildlife Channel when like an animal, like a gazelle or a zebra, gets hunted by a lion? Have you seen that?
Hmm. Yes.
And when they manage to like get away from the lion, have you see what they do? They shake. They kind of like do this whole shake to
Hmm.
get rid of the stress hormones because
Hmm.
they've been in fight and flight. It was something of life and death. So they had to run. And when they manage to get away, they get rid of the stress hormones and they shake, shake, shake for like a couple of minutes. If you haven't, like anyone watching who hasn't seen that, type it in on YouTube. It's amazing to see what animals do in nature to get rid of the hormones of
Hmm.
stress. And now
Hmm.
imagine as a person being in constant survival mode, constant, because you're hyper vigilant. You think someone's going to hurt me. I need to hide. I cannot show who I am. I cannot speak my truth. I cannot like take a risk. I cannot show myself vulnerable because someone's going to come right in and hurt me. So imagine being in that state like perpetually. And imagine what that does to your biochemistry, what it does to your health, what it does to your skin, what it does to your vitality, what it does with your personality.
All of that tension is trapped inside then.
Yeah.
From what you're saying, that person then is just one big ball of tension by being hyper vigilant all the
Yes.
time.
Yes. And now listen to this. That you're going to love this. Stress is dis-ease, disease. It leads to disease.
Yeah.
It has to. It's a scientifically proven fact that stress if being kept alive for a long period of time is going to lead to emotional, mental, and physical disease.
No release of that stress. No, well, how can a person be happy? How can we get rejuvenated then from a state like this? What can you tell us to move forward?
Well, to move forward is what I said before, is really those simple steps of creating awareness, taking responsibility to take a decision, and to be willing and dedicated to work on yourself. Because, the people I speak to, and I know you laughed about that, or we had a good joke about that. I always say I go on a vibe
Okay.
check with people
Hmm.
before I step into,
Wait, now you
because
gotta say it again. I was gonna put it in here so I could put it on
it's
the
kind of
screen,
like
but
a dating, like a
yeah, I,
dating
I know what you're doing.
situation, or a
Okay,
little
so we
bit.
gotta say it for everybody because we're kind of like talking to ourselves, and then we're going like, what are they talking about? We don't know. It's a
Yeah.
vibe check, correct?
I call it a vibe
But
check because when I get into like a mentoring one-on-one VIP
hmm
program with my clients, it's 4 months, and it's really such a close relationship we have in that time. And I have like a WhatsApp support so they can contact me anytime they have
okay,
like real issue. And I do a vibe check, and I always check those points. Are you willing to take responsibility? Are you ready to get into the driver's seat of your life? Because if you're not, that's fine. You're exactly where you need to be. But if I'm going to put all my heart into the situation, I need to know that you're ready.
Okay.
And the second thing I checked is, are you not only willing, but will you take responsibility? And are you going to trust the process? Because this is one of the hardest thing, and it was one of the hardest thing because I'm a nerd. I have a nerdy side
I
to
had a
me.
feeling you were going to
And
say
I
it. I was
would
trying to cover my
always
face,
say,
but I felt it coming. But go ahead.
and
Go
now
ahead.
you guess what are the most dangerous 3 words. I want to see if you can guess. What are the most dangerous 3 words when it comes to your personal development and your spiritual path? What do you think?
I have no idea.
I
I say it
know
with a
that.
smile.
I
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Because you think you know, but you know nothing. Because what you know brought you to the point where you are today. Are
So a
you?
person has to go beyond that,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
And a
They're going to
person
need to
has
move
to,
forward beyond that.
exactly. And a person needs to open their heart massively, trust the process, because it's going to get a little worse before it gets a lot better. Because we're going to dive into the places that hurt so badly that you've never wanted to look at alone.
Well, some people, they just want to stick to a meme, a safe podcast show, a safe, little something that they see. Because to dig a little bit deeper means that whatever they're running on is not enough for them for the future task or the things
Yes.
that are taking place in the moment, that they
Yes.
actually are just running on fumes and that they don't really have enough to keep themselves going. But you're saying you're pulling back. Well, now we're doing Shrek. You're pulling back the onion layers, as it were. You're pulling back the layers in which a person has to dig a little bit deeper.
Yes, but in my opinion, and there are millions of different approaches to this, but in my opinion, you need a safe, loving, compassionate place for that. A space, room that is opened where you feel, like a little child who's trying out scary stuff. The scariest thing this child has perhaps ever tried. So it's going to need like a safe place to be able to feel so confident and trust so much that this kid is going to be willing to do that. And it's exactly the same while coaching. You need to create like such a safe space that someone will be willing to surrender and let themselves fall into the process. And then what they notice is, wow, I thought this would be horrible to look at these things, but it's actually so liberating. So most of the times I get tears of joy, like, oh my God, it's like I've carried like hundreds of pounds in a backpack for years. And now only by speaking the words, I'm starting to let it go. And when we're at that point, I say like, awesome, you have it here. You're starting to feel it, but now I want to embody it with you.
You're speaking it, and
Yes.
not just writing it down. You're literally speaking about it.
We're speaking about it, so it's really important to have those things leave your throat chakra. It's a very important step. But then everything is about energy and getting it embodied into the body, because all of this information needs to be digested. And this is, the time to really know how to make wisdom, like lived wisdom, out of knowledge. And this is what I do with my clients. And it's the most fulfilling, beautiful, wing giving process I could imagine. And it leads
Did
to
you
like,
just say wing giving? Is that what you just
yes.
said?
Is that even a word?
I'm just look.
I'm just
Today I
saying,
said
yeah.
today I said I'm not going to be writing anything. I'm just go. But I want to try to remember some of these. I'll have to watch it back. But wing giving. Okay, I tell you, you come up with stuff all the time. I just like. Okay, here we go. As we move forward, we'll talk about rejuvenation another time. I probably put it up in the wrong spot, but I got some other things here.
Yes.
And you explained everything well, despite me. But a person can emotionally nourish themselves or get self-nourishment. There's a number of different things they can do, but one thing I am recommending everyone to do, I'm recommending that you do, everybody there, is reach out to Deborah. Please do that. This is the Deborah Elum podcast, and she has her podcast on Spotify. You get all that information later. Here we go. What does this mean? You
That's one
said
of
that
my
to me the other
favorite
day
words.
when we were talking, and I said, bring it up in the show, but explain it.
Yes,
What
I
does that
will.
mean?
Okay. To me, what it means is,
The words
again,
are soft power, by the way. I forgot
soft
I would say
power.
that for those who
For
only
those who
listen
are
to the
just
show.
listening to
Yeah,
the
just listening.
podcast.
So it's soft
Yes.
power. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So what happens when you've been in like a survival mode, when you've been hiding away, when you've been like building up those walls around you to protect yourself, you've what you've probably let go of first is your vulnerability and your feminine side, and the side of you that's nourishing and soft and playful, but as well loving and compassionate, because it's just not a safe environment to live these kind of qualities. And then when you break free of these situations, you get into like a warrior mode, and you have to bring up so much power to get out of there. And you're like, fighting, and I need to break free. And you get into like this really masculine doing energy of, I need to make this happen. And it's so needed. And there's so much
Just getting things
material.
done. In other words, just getting things done because I got to
Just
get it done.
automatically, getting things done, get myself out of
Instead
danger,
of
get
being,
myself
as you
out of.
said, playful, vulnerable, all those things all of a sudden go to the wayside, and it
No,
becomes
they've
this hard.
been to the wayside
Oh, they've been to the
all
wayside.
along.
Okay, got
All
it. Got
along
it.
when you're in these type of situations.
Got
And
it.
then you get into like this fighter mode, and there's so much material out there, because you're like narcissistic abuse.
No, I don't know anything. I don't. You just told me. I don't know
No,
that.
you know so much. You're like the most awesome space holder
I,
ever.
I play a doctor on TV. Go ahead.
I
You were
love that.
saying?
Bill Cosby. I so what happens is there's so much material out there to help you spot gaslighting, to help you spot, what do you do? How do you
This or
communicate?
that, right?
How
Yeah.
do you have this or that? But what comes after that?
Bingo.
And after that comes regaining your power, taking the power back to you,
There you go.
cutting energetic strings to people, forgetting about the story. And this is one of the most difficult. I've said that like twice already, but
No,
it's one of the
you
most.
can say it over here. People on this channel, the audience already knows you here, so just it's all right.
But this is, for me, that was so super troubling, because when you're in like a situation of pain, struggle, victimhood, all you want to do is tell it to people, get their reactions, get their, oh my God, that's so terrible. Tell me about it. Wow, that's what you've been going through. Wow, I can't, and
Yeah,
it
compassion.
feels
That
like a
compassion helps.
Band-Aid.
Yes,
It feels like a Band-Aid, but it's okay to do that 2, 3, 4 times. But not 400, 500, 600.
a lifestyle is different. A lifestyle of
Because then
doing
you
that.
start
Yeah,
re-traumatizing yourself,
yeah.
and your mind doesn't know the difference. Your
It's
mind
still
thinks
stuck
it's
in that
happening
moment.
all
Then
over
yeah,
again,
all over
all
again.
over
Got it.
again. So what you need to do after you've been in fighter mode, you need to cut these stories off. Stop telling your victim story. Just stop telling it. So difficult.
Yeah, because with it,
Extremely difficult.
many feel empowered by doing it, and some can say because they've been watching us for a while. Well, you are Narc Abuse TV, and that. What the reason Deborah is here and has been on many times is because there is a huge portion of the audience that watches our content that have asked us to do this, what we're talking about right now. They're at a stage where they just want to move forward, and the story has no more energy. The
Yes.
story that someone else perpetrated on them, the story that someone else is slandering them with, has no more power over them, and they are ready to move on. And so
Yes.
this is for you, and you know who you are. This may not be for you, what Deborah's speaking of right now.
And
Tell
there
your
comes a point.
tell your doggone story, and come on over here in Narc Abuse TV. You can tell your doggone story. It's all right. We got that. But there's another part. There's another phase that may come into your life, that will come into your life, in which it has no more energy because you began to literally rebuild your life. And that's kind of where we're moving here to a measured degree. But go ahead.
Yeah.
You were touching on some
For
other
me,
things.
It's tricky as well because for me,
You may have to tell your story, by the way, so people can because you have a story yourself. This is not like you
but
just saying
no,
this.
no, but it's not so interesting right now. But what's
Yeah,
really interesting for me is I just want to say that so no one at the other end thinks, oh, something's wrong with me because the story
yeah,
really does have power over me. The story will have power over you until you're deep into the work. And that's completely normal. But there comes a point where you need to make that decision. My story of the past is not allowed to define the story of my future. I'm not going to allow this thing that happened to me to define me until the last day of my life. I don't want to be sitting there at 88 saying like, I was treated badly.
yeah.
That's
I
not
get
my
you. I
life.
get what you're saying.
I wanted and so this is where the soft power comes in because being feminine is the opposite of being weak.
Yes,
Being
absolutely.
vulnerable
I love
has
that.
nothing to do with showing, like victimhood,
Hmm.
but there is a soft power about awakened and healed femininity. So this is the soft power I'm talking about when you really recognize how strong your vulnerability actually makes you because you have nothing to fear. You can
Yeah,
show yourself. And even if someone disagrees with you, even if you face adversity, it's okay because they have the right not to like what you're saying, not to like you, whatever the case may be, they have the right. It's okay. And I'm okay.
yeah. You
And so
you
when that comes
you
in,
said that so well.
this is true for me. This is true freedom and true liberation because you can at the same time become so caring
Hmm.
and give so little.
You're killing me. You know that, don't you? It's just like we're supposed to be ending pretty soon, and I want to keep going because this is like a whole nother show that I really want to get in with you, because we have individuals that
Yes.
write to us, tell us this is what they want to talk about. What you're talking about right now, it is not something that people want to talk about on other channels and a number of other things. There are places that talk about it, but this is something that people on our platform want to hear, that they're not abnormal because they don't want to keep telling the story. That they
Yes.
don't. Does that make any sense?
It makes so much sense.
So
And it's
we've
kind of
never
like,
delved into it too much, but I
yeah,
want us to be able to do that another podcast
we can
show.
do a
But go
complete
ahead,
show
go
about
ahead.
that. That's
Yes,
such an
please do.
important.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's, it's
you didn't warn me that you were going to do this. Is
well,
good. That was good. That was good.
yeah,
It means
yeah.
okay.
No,
We're gonna.
this whole topic about like um changing your story, changing
Yes,
the narrative of your story will
yes,
change your life.
yes.
It's like, if you change the sunglasses you're wearing and you
Yeah.
all of a sudden you see like the sky and the nature, the landscape in a different tone, like in a different hue.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing when you change on the inside. You start perceiving the world
There you
through
go.
another lens. And
Yeah.
you start perceiving that everything you thought was taking away your self worth, everything you thought was keeping you small,
Yeah.
everything you thought was disempowering you was an illusion. And were like
Right.
illusionary prison walls you had built up and that are time to be
Yeah.
taken down and just replaced by lovingness, nourishment, compassion,
Yeah.
soft power,
Yeah.
joy of living, thankfulness,
Okay, you're
gratitude.
doing it. Come on now. We're gonna have to go pretty soon, man. You're killing me.
We're going whenever
We're
you
gonna
want to go, but we have topics for
we're
the
gonna
next
talk
two
we're
shows.
gonna talk when we're done. But okay, so man, I want to get into this with you. Okay,
Yes,
all right, here we go. I'm gonna pop something up. Oh, real quick before we go any further,
yes.
I'm gonna. You told me about a free value. Hold on. Boom call. Free value boom.
Bomb,
Oh,
like boom.
my goodness. Bomb call. Look at me. I can't even
I
read my
call
own
them,
writing there.
yes,
Free
yes,
value
sir.
bomb call that people can do to talk to you. Briefly, can you talk about that? And then I'm going to put something up on the screen.
Anyone who's interested in stepping into my one-on-one program can call me, can send me a DM, and let me know. Hello, Marnie. I will read your comment in a second, and can let me know what's going on. What are you struggling with? What is your topic at the moment? And I will take time out of my day to talk to them and to like just walk them through, give them direct tools that they can integrate into their lives because all what I'm doing, I'm engineering in the background. I'm like diving deep into like ancient knowledge, into neuroscience, into deep spirituality to get all of these really impactful tools that will not coach you and not mentor you. They will transform your life. They will transform your identity, and you will wake up one morning and say like, damn, that feels really different. That feels really different. And
So
so this is
everybody
what I
will.
do. And I offer value bomb calls, and I call them that on purpose because no strings attached. I lovingly give those out with no
15
conditions.
minutes long. Yeah.
15 minutes. And if you're really like thinking, okay, who is this Deborah, and I really want to get to know her, I don't know if we
Yes.
vibe or not, and then we just get on a call and I
Who
give
wouldn't
you
vibe with you? Who wouldn't vibe with you? Okay. I know you
yeah
want to keep going, but I'm pressed against the clock here on what we're gonna
yes
do here. And I gotta throw this in. Then you have the one-on-one coaching for the subconscious. Correct me how this
I do.
might.
I just want to tell Marnie,
Yeah.
thank you so
Well,
much.
no,
You're so
she's not going nowhere. Marnie, I love you, Marnie. Marnie's there. She's been on the show numerous times. We're gonna get to Marnie in a second, but I wanted the one-on-one coaching real quick. I want to throw that in real quick, and then we're gonna get to Marnie. So one-on-one coaching subconscious 4 months.
yes,
Did I say it right?
yes.
It's absolutely correct, right?
4 months,
17.
weekly calls. We have 17 modules, and I have like a system that I've worked on. It's like my signature program where we dive deep into the subconscious. We create like a base, a clean slate for
Okay.
everything else we want to build on top. So it's like a beautiful, and then we go into envisioning your future the way you've dreamt it out, and we really go like intentional, taking
You're
responsibility.
awesome.
And my main,
Yes.
I need to say this, the
Yes.
main thing I do with my clients over and over and over again is connecting them to themselves,
Okay.
reconnecting to themselves. And we do that over and over.
Okay. And now here we go. This is something that I know you sent me. I just took a few notes. A membership thing you have, right? Going on. I'm gonna let you explain it, and then we're gonna talk about Marnie, and we're gonna talk with Marnie here in just a moment. But the membership, is it $40 a month? Did I say that right?
It's
Tell everybody
40
about it.
Listen, so last time we were talking, we got into like such an energy, and you were like, I have this beautiful audience, and they're standing at the point where they
Don't
really
tell them
want to
that they're
move
gonna get a
on.
big head. Just go ahead. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and I said like I really want to do something for your community, and I really want to like offer something for your people
Thank
because
you.
you have been so amazing to me, and I really I feel it so deeply that it would be so impactful and so amazing to create like a
Yeah.
safe space where it's
Yes.
safe to like walk together because the
Hmm.
the path is not struggly, but it's not
It can be
obvious.
rocky. It can be rocky for a lot
It
of
can
people.
be rocky, and
Yeah.
some things really are so much safer in like a kind of like an environment where you feel
Hmm.
there's a soul
Yeah.
family and we're walking each other home, and it's like this feeling of nourishment and understanding and compassion and love, and we cheer each other on, and just there will be bi-weekly calls, so 2 calls a month, and it's a membership. It will be
Hmm.
on Zoom, and we will have like a closed Facebook group where we can communicate between the calls. And I will have like one topic for every call, and it can be something like self-love, or something like adversity or connection to yourself, or
Hmm.
presence in your life. And then, or even we can communicate within the group, and if some of the people say, I'm really having a hard time dealing with the pain of my children after like a separation or whatever, I say, fantastic, we can do a call on that, because I've been there, and I've found like
Yeah.
such a beautiful path of love. And
Okay.
I just want to share
I
that.
just want to do this as we move into that. We've talked about the free value bomb call, 15 minutes. The one-on-one coaching, which is available to you as well. Let me turn this way so I can talk into the microphone. And we've got a vibe check that they could do with you. That's all there for them. Membership will be there. All of this will be in the description when I put this together.
Well,
And hopefully, Deborah, you get an opportunity once this video is uploaded. When we're done here, you get a chance to go into the comments section and put any information in there, because believe me,
I
people
will put
will
all
be.
the things. The
Yeah,
tribe is
yeah,
online and it's been online for a few hours. So this
good,
membership is called the
awesome,
tribe. And
good.
I
It's
think
a
that's
landing
like such
page,
an
right? I think you
awesome.
told me it's a landing
I have
page
a
for people.
landing page,
Okay,
exactly, and you could go
okay,
on there and just click it
all right.
and get all of the information you need, or you can contact me on my social media.
We
And
go. You know what? We're gonna have so much fun. We came up with an idea, everybody. We can't tell you yet. I'm not gonna say what it is. We were talking about before the show that you and I are gonna do, and we're
oh,
gonna do it. We're gonna have Marnie show up. This is why I wanted to save Marnie, because she was one of the, when we talked about this before the show, and we thought of this idea. Can't tell you guys what it is. Can't tell you what it is. Can't touch it. Da, 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 da. Okay, so anyhow, so I've said that to the right person because you're a music freak too, just like me. So anyhow, so we came up with this idea, and we're gonna do it, and Marnie's gonna be a part of it. When we talked about it, she was the first person I thought of. That's why I wanted to save it to this
aw,
moment. So we're gonna talk about Marnie right now before
part
we
of
end
the
up having to
party.
go in a little bit. Marnie says, for all of you that are listening, can't see it on screen. Deborah, you are so correct. There comes a time to move on or change your focus. Man, Marnie, you're the bomb. After you feel you've handled the trauma. So that's what she picked up from some of the things that you were saying. And of course, I'm going to put this up. She sends you hearts, tons of hearts. Okay, now go ahead and say what you want to say to Marnie before I put up
Well,
something
thanks
else
so
here.
much, Marnie. And you have like that's perfect. Your words are spot on, because where your focus goes, your energy flows, and you will always create more of what you're focusing on. But of course, before you've dealt with a trauma, or while you're dealing with a trauma, your focus needs to go exactly where you are, because this is the place where healing takes place, when you're not in resistance to where you're standing. So you need to feel the emotions, you need to feel what wants to be felt. But then comes a time where focus is redirected, and it's not so much anymore about the shadow work, but it's about like having a beacon of light within you and letting it grow and grow and expand and shine bigger and melt away all of the trauma in your life. And it's just the most beautiful thing to accompany that with people.
You ready for some more torture from me? You ready for some
I
more?
don't feel tortured at all. You just keep on
You get
going.
me every time. You just, no
Excellent.
matter what I throw at you, you just keep on plugging along. Okay, so here we go. I got to put this up, and then you just run with it. Here we go, right on the screen. What's troubling you?
Me
There,
personally.
no, not you. Oh my goodness, woman. So good. Good
What's
on. Okay,
troubling
so
you?
what's
Well,
troubling you? There are a number of things, my dear
yeah.
audience. Many of you wanted to have a show just like this. Deborah's going to be the one spearheading these types of discussions. If you've gone past that point in your life, very similar to what Marnie was talking about, if you've gotten to that point where your focus and your energy, you want to put it somewhere else than on the narcissist or whatever it may be, toxic person, bad boss or whatever, and you want to redirect it for, well, a better outcome, what is it that is troubling you? If someone has something that's troubling them, they can reach out to you. We've just talked about some of those ways. What is something that you can say at this moment in time, somebody's dealing with something that's troubling them, that you can give as advice that can help them? Just anything you want to say as advice. They're
Yes.
dealing with something. Something's troubling them. It could be a number of things.
Yes.
Let them
Well,
have some advice.
wow. I would tell them, relax, breathe. Just breathe. You're
Okay.
fine. You're okay. And I would come and like spill a whole bucket of okayness on whatever's going on, and just let them know you're gold
What?
and
Say
you'll
that
be
again.
fine.
A whole bucket of what?
Okayness. I love that word. That word
That is
makes me
so
feel at
cool.
ease, you know.
Okay.
I really I want to bring ease and love and peace to people's life. And I always tell them, walk with open eyes and no fear, and be humble, be open up to the possibility that there's more than you've been able to see up until now, and open up to the possibility that there's so many more levels of happiness and joy and freedom and liberation that you can feel in your life. And this life, and every moment, every minute of this life is so valuable. so much more valuable than you know. And it's such a waste to have it just slip by on autopilot. And I just want to tell people who are going through troubling times, let there be ease. It will be okay. And you don't have to know step 235. You just need to have the first step. Like, wow, something's going on and it's not quite okay. And take the decision to take responsibility, make that baby step. If you're not ready to dive into a one-on-one super intensive, join the
Yeah.
tribe,
Yeah.
join my newsletter list, go and
Mhm.
consume my free content. There's a bunch of steps before you get into a big commitment, but then comes a point where you need to be dedicated and really want it more than anything else, and
That
it
was
will change your life.
beautiful. That was beautiful advice. I love it. I got to put up with Marnie. Marnie also said, love that. Where your focus goes, your energy goes.
Your energy flows. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dr. Marnie Hill Federero, thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you
You're
so much.
amazing. You're just totally awesome. Thank you for supporting the channel and the show. Deborah, you knocked it out the ballpark with your advice. You're really very helpful there. Nothing else that you want to get off your chest before we go?
Well, we've said so much, and I just love your show so much, and
I love doing
I'm
lives
so
with you.
thankful to be on over and over again. And I just want to remember every single person that they have a light within them, and there's nothing's broken, nothing needs to be fixed. You just need to remember the light that you are within.
Yeah, normally people don't get to see this part. I mean, we would do a pre-recorded podcast kind of a thing, but I totally took you out of the loop, out of everybody else that are doing stuff with, and instead of pre-recorded, we're just gonna jump on live, and it's gonna be as is. I enjoy you because it's as is, and it's always positive energy. But now I got a new term: bucket of okayness. And I've already got some other ones when we were talking the other day. Some really amazing things that you happen to say. Your family is blessed to have you as the woman who takes care of them. You're a very good-hearted person, but you got more love on the screen, so I got to give it to you before we actually end this show. We're going to end in just a moment, everybody, but you got to read this.
I found writing very therapeutic. I did get a great deal of speaking as well. Now I'm putting my focus and energy into my beautiful life in the Caribbean, organic gardening, reading, creating art.
Awesome.
Oh, Dr.
Okay,
Marnie,
wait. I
you
gotta do
are
something.
amazing.
Here we go.
Wow. Wow. You're creating a beautiful life for yourself, and wow.
This is what we're talking about, right? This is the stuff when we do chats, when you and I are talking and trying to, how we're going to try to inspire and encourage people. Positive, informative, and encouraging is who you are. The show that I had before this as well. These are the type of people you will find here on NATV Network. Please check out Dr. Marnie Hill's books. I was going to say books. Marnie, I know if you could just type in the title so people will see it in the chat even when the show is done. If you can get a chance to do that, I'm going to be doing some special projects for her, little mini movie and stuff like that for Marnie to promote her book. You guys can get a chance to see that. In regards to the lady that has been here for 58 minutes. I knew we weren't going to do a 35-minute show, but it was for 58 minutes. Thank you, Marnie. I see it. I'm going to keep. I'm going to put that up in just a minute. But let me put this up. You can take a look at that, everybody. I'll read it to you who are on the podcast side in just a moment. But I just want you to know, please reach out to Deborah. You have got to reach out to Deborah. If it works for you, the only way to find out is if you reach out. So if you feel stuck, if you feel that you're going through something, if you feel that something is just not moving the direction and you want to talk to someone, by all means, reach out. Don't hold it in. Go ahead and talk to someone. Marnie also put, I still tune into Paxton's NATV. You're so sweet, because the healing journey is ongoing. This ongoing journey that the doc is talking about, you want to talk about that real quick before we have to go? People,
what I have to say about this is,
yes,
your spiritual journey, this life journey, is not about goals. It's not about reaching a milestone. It's not about the money, the partner, the car, the whatever. It's about the journey. And I know you've heard that a million times on postcards, on everything. But the thing is, if you're able to fall in love with every single step of the journey, you're going to have a beautiful life. There's no secret.
Yeah.
You need to fall in love with whatever's going on in your life and make it okay, and keep on moving in the right direction, and surround yourself with empowering people and take the right decisions. So
yeah, we've got Marnie put up her books that she have. It is True Deceit, False Love. Thank you for putting that in the chat so people can see that when they see this back later. And also it is a 5-book series that she has there. I'm going to put that information also in the links for this show. So if anybody needs to get that information, they can get that as well. You are not done, because we have to talk a little bit more after we end the live.
Yes.
And you said so much today that needs to be talked about again and expanded on. And we're going to do that. Those of you who wanted to see this, there's 2 groups here. Let's just do this right now. There's a group that wanted to see you again, Deborah. That reached out to me. And then there was a group that liked the content that you had and they want more of it. Well, I consider, why don't we go to the source? If they liked it, we just bring you back and keep expanding on it. But Deborah, you set up this membership, right? How do you call it? What do you call it?
The tribe. The tribe.
I'm just trying to make you say it. I know what it is. I'm just acting like I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So the tribe,
I fell through it.
she said it. She set up this tribe. So much for directing the show. She set up this tribe that you could be a part of and reach out to if it works for you. But at least go check it out. Yeah, please do that. And many of you know who you are.
I'm so excited because exactly knowing about these things and just making a move, and having like a space where you can expand and like a safe space, it just changes everything.
Yeah. And maybe you're working with someone. I'm not going to say your name. You're going to know who it is when I say this, whoever you were that wrote me. You don't want to keep working with the person you're working with, and you want something like what we're talking about here. Well, then step over and move over to where Deborah is, and she can be of help to you. If you're in Germany, which we are, people watch us and listen to us in Germany, please make sure you reach out to Deborah. There in Germany. What else we got going on here? What else? Anything else?
Well, I work online, so actually I can work with anyone around the world, not only with German people, but I guess my content is easier, especially my podcast, because it's in German language up until now. But who knows? I created this tribe like within the last couple of days. So,
yes, you did.
Yeah, so everything's open, wide open. I can always create like an English podcast, English content page.
You did that pretty fast too, by the way.
I really
you did
did.
that. I'm sitting there minding my own business, doing other stuff, getting other things ready. Let me get this stuff off the screen here. Hold on 1 second. Let me get that. This is annoying me. Okay,
it's always like
and the
that
next thing I
talk.
know, here comes. No, see, you don't be wasting no time though.
No, but I'm always when I
totally
talk to
had
you,
it ready,
it's like
done, and I'm going
fireworks
like,
of ideas. I just love talking to you because even when we were on a pre-call and you were introducing me to your idea, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, let me
yes, you
talk.
were. I thought you just had to go to the restroom.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going I'll stop. Hey, listen, great ideas that we shared back and forth. Let's just go ahead and make those things happen. And once we just start putting it out there, the people who have been requesting it or that are waiting for it, they will have something that will help them move forward and readjust their focus and their energy to where it really needs to be, which is moving forward and instead of staying stuck. Enough for me. That's too much for me. Listen, we're going to do this again, and we're going to do that idea that none of you know about. But when you see it, you're going to go like, yeah, that was good. That was really good. We've got something that we came up with. And we're going to bring Marnie along with us. We're going to bring Marnie along with us when we do it. All right. Hey, I've had fun again, my friend. I'll talk to you in just a little bit. But right now, everybody, here we go. We're going to leave. Enjoy a little bit of music on the way out. I'm still doing that. Don't keep writing me and asking me if I'm going to keep doing it. I am going to keep doing it. But if you write me, I'll endure that. But we're not going to stop playing some music for you as we leave. Many of you say you want to hear that. You want something different than constantly talking about the narcissist, but yet you also want to talk about that. We'll provide both of those for you on this platform. But right now, you've got to come back for the Deborah Elum podcast, which is going to cover a number of different positive things to keep your pure magnetic energy going in the right direction. Right? Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Paxton.
Hey,
It
much
was
love
such
to
a
you, my
pleasure
friend.
with you.
Gotcha. We'll see everybody later. All right, Deborah, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, bye, everybody. And enjoy the music on the way out. And we'll see you in just a moment. Deborah, I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, enough of me talking. Later, people.